Hello, church family. My name is Ian, and I'm assuming that you're going to be linking with a small group this week to talk about Palm Sunday. And now you might be linking via Facebook Messenger or Zoom or some other platform in the next few days. Did you know that if you're using Zoom and forget to create a meeting password, there is an exceptionally remote possibility that someone could gatecrash your meeting if they discover your 9-digit meeting number? So just for fun, let's suppose that happens. And suddenly, while you're chatting away together, a new window appears on your screen. And in that window is the grinning face of Boris Johnson. Now, I might be wrong, but I suspect two things could happen. Some of us will want to congratulate him for taking brave decisions at a tough time, while others of us will want to bend his ear about how issues that he and the government haven't quite turned out as we hope they might. Now, the point I'm making is this. Because of who Boris is, there will be reactions to him, for good or for bad. Now, in his day, Jesus was just the same. There were strong reactions to him simply because of who he was. Like him or loathe him, you couldn't ignore him. Hence, Palm Sunday, when Jesus did something that could not be ignored. At our online weekend service, Roger was preaching about Palm Sunday. It was on that day that reactions to Jesus became increasingly polarised. On that day, a huge crowd welcomed him triumphantly into Jerusalem. And only a short while later, another huge crowd was baying for his blood. Can I suggest that you recap the story and chat about anything that you think is significant in it? Well, let me share some insights which I hope will help you in your discussion about Palm Sunday. On that day, Jesus was revealing to everyone who wanted to acknowledge it who he really was and why he came. Now, Roger highlighted that he showed himself to be Lord and King and the Son of David and a prophet. Now, what I'd like you to do is have a chat about a special object that each of you owns, an object that's special to you, that gives away something that defines who you are. You know, if someone saw you with that object, they think, oh yeah, I know a little bit about him or her. For me, I don't know what it's going to be, a bundle of sermon notes or a piano because I like music. Yours will be different, I hope. So have a chat about some of your statement objects and what you'd like them to say about you. In Matthew 21, Jesus asked the disciples to collect a donkey. Now, taking that donkey sounds to us like stealing a car, although many experts think this was prearranged. Now, the Jewish documents at the time, the Mishnah, tell us that pilgrims coming to the feast, as Jesus was, should walk into the city. Now, Jesus had just walked all the way from Galilee. So why now does he get on a donkey? In fact, this is the only time we hear of Jesus travelling by any other means than on foot. So this is a deliberate gesture. Jesus is provoking a reaction with his statement object. In Matthew 21 verse 4, we read, this took place to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet Zechariah, as it happens. Now, a donkey was a symbol of humility and even poverty, because it was the most common beast of burden at the time. However, back in the Old Testament, it was given a heightened significance when Solomon was crowned king. Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet put Solomon on King David's donkey and escorted him into the city. Then Zadok took the horn of oil from the sacred tent and anointed Solomon as king. And then all the people shouted, "Long live King Solomon." And all the people went in after him, playing pipes and rejoicing greatly, so much so that the ground shook with the sound. So the new king arrives on a donkey, and that is what Jesus is reenacting here. Later on, the prophet Zechariah picked up this image and heard God saying, when the Messiah comes, look out, because he will arrive on a donkey. Now look at verse 5 of Matthew 21. Say to my people, see your king comes to you, gentle and riding on a donkey, and on a colt, the foal of a donkey. Now, here's the thing. The disciples obeyed Jesus and got the donkey. And that paved the way for God to do something quite remarkable, to show that Jesus was the Messiah. There's a principle for us to take on board. And here's something deeper that you can talk about. What is your reaction to this lockdown? Are there ways in which we can give Jesus the place of kingship that he deserves in our family, or in our leisure, or in our money, or in our relationships, or our time? Have a talk about some of these. And finally, can I encourage you to spend a bit of time praying for each other? I feel it's worth praying for our mental well-being, because there are so many messages from the media that can make us feel depressed or anxious or uncertain. A key difference between the crowd praising him on Palm Sunday and the crowd baying for Jesus' blood on Good Friday was who they each listened to. Personally, I'm not watching the news so much. I used to be a real news hound. But because it is so unremittingly grim, I don't want to fill my mind with it. Neither do I want to indulge in escapism. I want to feed my heart with things that will help it to be healthy. So do a little bit of supporting each other over what you're listening to and watching. God bless you.